It's in a plethora of promises from INEC to Nigerians. Several promises. Election is going to be free and fair and credible. Turned out to be the worst in the history. We're going to use beavers and IRF. Turned out that it's been a way of trying to capture the attention of Nigerians to trusting the process. But if it seems not working, again, we see several PVCs, buckets and packs of PVC in several places, the bushes, the gutters, and several places. INEC is yet to send anybody to jail for these crimes. Civilians and individuals like you and I cannot go into INEC offices or have access to sensitive materials like the PVCs. Again, just in this past election, several accusations have been made about ACDOC staff and INEC contract staff, like the resident electoral commissioners and all that. As I talk to you, INEC is yet to make a single arrest and prosecution of any. One way to show to us that you are serious about, or you are not culpable, or that you are not in any way involved in this drama that is happening, giving us somebody that we did not elect, right, is to begin to make moves to ensure that the promises you have made earlier have been fulfilled. You are making a new promise now of cloud storage for the same data. INEC did not tell us before now that the storage they have will not be able to conduct the presidential and the gubernatorial elections. If INEC had even made budget to say the beavers cannot do both presidential and gubernatorial, we need more beavers so that you can. Again, like Nigerians, we are very resilient, very understanding, very patient. But you see, like having a partner that is patient and understanding with you, and you continue to take advantage and you abuse that partner, the time will come where that partner will resist, and then you say that he retaliates, or then he walks away. Relationship, several cases like that are bound. I'm just scared that if we don't get this right with INEC, when Nigerians begin to say this is choking, this cup is feed, and then they want to react, people are going to start writing all sorts and say this generation, oh, Peter Obi people, Labour Party, oh, the youth are restive and all that. There have been several opportunities given to INEC now to fixing this mess. What do you think actually? Is there hope for us? Can we trust INEC? Can we sit back and say, okay, INEC, what can we do? Or do you think there are just, I'm getting several DMs and messages of why we should not even trust this grammar. Remember that in 2019, on technical ground, INEC had said that they didn't have server in the case between Muhammadu Buhari and Atiku Abubakar, and now they are agreeing that they have server. So I want Nigerians, as you watch this video, it kind of explains everything. I want you to share this video too. It gives clear understanding of what is happening at the moment. A good update that we should take serious. And I want to hear your own opinion. What do you think? Can we trust INEC? What are the strategies that we can use? Those of you that are tech people that understand clearly of this area, what do you think is going to happen? What can the Labour Party and those of us young people do to averting this imminent danger that is before us? I don't know, but several things on my mind, but let me hear your opinion, and then hit the like button and share this video. Good night.
Well, the Court of Appeal delivered ruling on an application by the Independent National Electoral Commission to vary the orders it made on a previous ex parte application brought by Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of our party, and the party itself. The INEC requested the Court of Appeal to grant her permission to reconfigure the beavers machines so that they can use that for the conduct of the governorship and House of Assembly elections on the 11th of March. And the previous order the court made was that Mr. Obi and Labour Party should be granted access to all the materials used in conducting the presidential election on the 25th of February, including the information contained in the beavers machines. So INEC had to come back with an application for the order to be varied, but it is instructive to also note that since the orders were made on the 3rd of March, that was last week, Friday, the INEC never allowed our lawyers access to any of the materials the court directed INEC to grant access to our lawyers.
And did you bring that up in court today?
Yes, of course. They are aware because our lawyers have been going there repeatedly. Nothing was shown to them. And I'm sure their refusal to grant us access was because of the application they have brought to vary the order. You know, but today, 2 rulings were rendered, and the first one was that INEC can configure or reconfigure the BVAS machines to be able to perform their constitutional duty to conduct elections it had scheduled for 11th of March. But that was given with reliance to paragraph 8 of INEC's affidavit in support of the application, that all the information contained in the BVAS machine will be transferred to a back-end server, and that nothing will be lost at all, absolutely. And it will be easy to retrieve those information on demand. So that is
that's what happened in court.
That's what happened in court. And of course, the justice that read the ruling had to emphasize more that no information stored in that BVAS machine, which INEC had undertaken, will be transferred safely to a back-end server, should be missing.
Right.
So it's a conditional approval they were given.
So were you happy with the outcome of today's court?
Well, you know, this is a technological-driven election at this time, but we are happy and relaxed that INEC has taken greater responsibility to ensure that all those information stored in the BVAS machines will be retrieved on demand without loss of any item. If you understand what that portends, it means that INEC has taken responsibility to prove at all material times that the information stored in the BVAS machines will be made available.
But is that
where they fail?
Right. But is that different from the same promise or a similar promise that INEC made before the elections, that all the results will be uploaded to the IREV server in real time and that people would be able to see it and access all the material, and that never happened? And that's part of their guidelines, which is, if you like, which is subject to electoral law.
Yeah, failure to do those things as they promised before the conduct of the election has become a problem on itself. That's why the outcome of the election, presidential results, have become controversial. Now, but it is much more dangerous now that INEC has made this promise in an affidavit in a court.
Right.
And the order the Court of Appeal made was in full reliance to that promise. It's an undertaking of some sort. The other one was a promise, we'll do everything fine. But now, they have told the court that this is going to be this way. This information will not be tampered with. And on demand, the information will be made available. No item will be lost. It is very dangerous to the petition.
Right.
That when, in the course of proceedings at the tribunal, the lawyers to the petitioners complain that some items supposedly stored in the BVAS have not been retrieved from the back-end server, it has put a serious problem on the side of INEC. That will create serious problem that can annul the election.
And that can help build your case.
Yes, to help build the case, because if the information which they guaranteed are stored in a back-end server are no longer available, they have washed away the election.
But you do concede that, I mean, holding the election is a national priority for INEC and for Nigerians, and if they are not able to configure those BVAS machines, then those elections would have to be postponed.
You see, the INEC has taken more than it can chew at this time, but we'll leave it to them. It is their responsibility to conduct the election. The feasibility of doing everything right within 48 hours, reconfigure the machines, is their own cup of tea. First of all, you have to transfer those information to the back-end server as they claim they will be able to do. First of all, before you reconfigure the machines, for them to be able to do it for the entire polling units in Nigeria within 48 hours and logistically get ready for the conduct of election on the 11th of March is their own issue.
Yeah, well, they could come out and say, whoops, I'm afraid we made a horrible mistake. We're utterly, utterly sorry, but we deleted the thing accidentally.
Or they deleted it accidentally.
Well, I'm saying that's a possibility.
If that happens,
I'm not saying it's probable.
If that happens,
and I can't cast aspersions on INEC.
To us, the party that actually won that election, the Labour Party, and our candidate.
Well, that's a claim.
Yes,
that's not been proven yet.
It's a claim, but I'm telling you, you get to see that. And if they now say that nothing is available, they've deleted it mistakenly, what do you mean that they've deleted the election?
Right.
And any return made thereof will be voided.
Right.
So you must have to take into account the implications of that action.
Yeah, but does today's development in court move you, in your assessment, a step closer to your stated ambition of reclaiming a mandate for Peter Obi that you have said that you believe was stolen from him? Or does it move you further away?
No, it didn't move us further away. We are still on course in the sense that the court ordered INEC again to grant unhindered access to all the materials used for the conduct of that presidential poll to Mr. Peter Obi and the Labour Party and their councils. So if all the records will remain as used during the election, it will be very easy for us to do forensic audit.
Right.
Because one was that we also, in our application, requested the court to order that we'll be allowed to conduct a forensic audit of all these materials. So there's no way we can go through that without catching them here and there. So that's the problem. And when they wanted the court to vary the order it made, they made an application that was vague. There was no specific item. They asked the court to vary, for them to be able to ensure compliance. So the court also told them, you've not told us what you want us to vary, and your application has failed. So we stand by our earlier order that you must provide all those materials, ballot papers, voters registration document, voters registers, ballot papers, contents of the Beavers machine, those information like number of accredited voters, number of people who, this and that, scores and all that. So if the orders remain the same, and INEC went on in an affidavit, stated that they will transfer all those things into a back-end server and nothing will be lost. So the entire process is still covered. It's like an insurance.
Right.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, you have said publicly that you have enough evidence to recover that alleged mandate.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what that evidence is, because, for example, you said that Mr. Obi, or you were quoted as saying, and you can clarify that for us, that Mr. Obi won more than 2 million votes in Rivers State.
I don't know who said
but
that.
Was well, I mean, it's quoted in several newspapers.
These are social media.
But was shortchanged, and the final. But I mean, the final tally saw Bola Tinubu emerge victorious with 231,591 votes, as against Mr. Peter Obi's 175,000 odd votes. I mean, how could he have won more than 2 million votes when the total number of accredited voters stood at 605,000?
I never.
Okay,
ever,
because you were quoted
yes,
as saying that, so I'm glad you clarified
I never
that.
ever said anything like that to anybody.
Right.
One thing that was clear was that from evidence available to us from even people who were part of the conduct of the exercise made videos to explain what transpired on the day of election in Rivers. Like, Biokpo local government area, where the actual result was that Mr. Obi and Labour Party had 70,239 votes, and APC had 3,000 votes. What they declared finally was that APC got 80,239 votes, and Labour Party now down to 3,000.
Yeah, but is there enough of that across polling booths around? Because you see, there's a difference. You're not just asking for the election to be annulled because you consider that there were many irregularities. You're saying that he won the election. There's a big difference.
No, the petition has not even been drafted. So our claim is speculative in the media. What we are saying is that it is obvious that there were too many infractions in the conduct of the election. So the way it goes, I'm an experienced somebody in matters of election petition for 20 years now. When you start, you begin to assemble evidence.
Right.
But by the time you file your petition, you distill the material evidence you've collected to determine what to ask the court to do for you. Whether to declare your winner
within the realm of
possibility,
right,
or to cancel the election outright and repeat it. So the reaction will be gradual.
Right.
Yes, and
so there's a marked difference between the things that you've been quoted as saying.
No, I never said those
in
things.
the court of public opinion.
I never granted such
and the
interview.
things that you're likely to say in a court of law.
No, I never granted such interview. What I said was that looking at the things we've gathered from our agents across the country, not only Rivers State. We have Plateau State, we have Lagos State. We have many other states where it was clearly obvious that wrong figures were declared. We're putting them together. And by the time we finish our forensic audit of the Beavers machine and compare it to what we have, already they have uploaded some results in the IRF portal, and the figures are remarkably different in some places. So you're dealing with a nationwide election, not just a spot election. By the time you pick from here and there, you add the figures and see where you stand. But for clarity, it is obvious that INEC did not keep to the rules and guidelines they set for the conduct of the election.
Right.
Yes, I watched a video yesterday where an SPO or a presiding officer somewhere in Abia State, a lady, said that when they finished the election, they wanted to upload the results. Only the National Assembly election results were going on, but the presidential election access couldn't open up.